going back to the SEC Western Division, the record's not bad, but just not much progress out of Kevin Sumlin at Texas A&M.
Yeah, I think that's probably, there's a 35% chance that a move is made. I'll tell you what, I think that's more of a coin flip right now. I think that it really has everything to do with how kind of Les Miles ended his season out at LSU a couple years ago, where it was kind of like, okay, what are we going to do here? I mean, we could go either way because, listen, they had played some good ball. They got a lot of young guys. I mean, this is as young of an A&M squad as Kevin Sullivan's had to deal with ever. And they showed glimpses of really trying to make a move. Yet you lose a couple of games in a row, and here it is, that late, October, November swoon that they on the bad part of it. So I think he has to finish strong if he wants to be a College Station next year. I think there could be 4 or 5 new faces or teams looking for guys at SEC Media Days when we're down there next spring.
I think sometimes as fans, we think this is an easy thing to do. You go to a Tennessee or Texas A&M, you get all these resources, you make $5 or $6 million, you recruit these great players from these much heralded recruiting bases. You should be able to win. But I think these guys are really good at what they do. This just amplifies how good Nick Saban is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a doubt, and I think it also amplifies the level of passion, the expectation level from the SEC. I mean, there's a reason why the SEC Network was the biggest launch in the history of college or cable television, is because you had a fan base that had to have it. Now, that's not saying they had to have Peter Burns, just because they had to have college football. They had to have the passion of their conference. And I think, there was a kind of people that kind of laughed at the slogan, "It just means more," when it first came out for the SEC, and it's kind of become a punchline. But you know what? It truly does. I mean, it does just mean more in our conference than probably any other conference that's out there. And that comes with the good and comes with the bad. It comes with the most passionate, incredible fan bases that deal with the conference, but it also comes with the biggest expectation level and the smallest amount of error for any of these coaches. I mean, I've heard from people say that it may be better to make $4 million in another conference and be a mid-tier coach than to make $5.5 million in the SEC, just because of the expectation level, and that's why when you go back and look at it, I think South Carolina and Mississippi State may be 2 of the best jobs in the SEC. And what Will and Dan Mullen have is they have fan bases that, hey, they want to be in the thick of things. But guess what? When you have a season that where you go 8-5 or you go, 7-5, it's not, oh my gosh, what's happening? Well, the wheels are falling off. They'll treat you like a god if you win 10 or 11 games out there. But when you have a 7-win season, which are going to happen, occasionally, unless you're Alabama, those are good jobs. And I think that's the reason why Dan Mullen hasn't left Starkville at Mississippi State. And I think that a lot of people will go after Will Muschamp, but Will's going to have a situation where he's kind of quietly just building a nice, solid squad in Columbia and staying underneath the radar, which is great for him because Will just wants to coach football, and that's what he's doing right now, and he's doing it well.
Yeah, that South Carolina team, you run all the metrics, and they just don't seem like a very good football team on paper, but they keep winning football games against decent opponents.
Yeah, and I mean, and Will's doing it without a lot of talent. I mean, the last 2 years, Steve Spurrier kind of left. Kind of like how Mac Brown, to a certain extent, left the cupboard a little bit dry with his maybe kind of lack of targeted recruiting at Texas. Maybe I've seen that at Tennessee after Fulmer left, and so I think that Will is kind of building, and he doesn't really even have his guys. He's just doing it with duct tape and baling wire and Jake Bentley, which is pretty impressive right now.
Peter Burns from the SEC Network helping us break down another fun weekend of SEC football with 2 huge matchups coming up, and of course the college football rankings thereafter, and who knows what's going to happen this weekend. Peter, with all you got going on professionally and personally there at the home front, appreciate you coming on.
Mark, anytime for you, bud. Talk to you soon.